There's been a lot of debate over privatization of our schools' cafeteria services. Do you believe it is appropriate for people and organizations outside the Board of Ed, such as Mayor, City Council, Board of Finance, and others, to participate in this debate, or leave it to the Education Department and Board of Ed to work through the process unencumbered by outside influences?
I think this question is multifaceted, and I'm going to begin by saying that in general, most of us are aware that the Board of Education has complete autonomy over their budget. And they receive money both from the city and through the state, and they spend it appropriately as they see fit, per state law. Typically, we do not have that much involvement with them. However, there is the need for collaboration. And I think leadership is important, as well as communication, since it is the largest piece of our budget. What we've seen in the past 2 years, as it's specifically related to the cafeteria privatization issue, is a breakdown of communication and leadership. And frankly, if I was the mayor and my party was in charge of the Board of Education, all it would have had taken was a phone call, and I would have said, you lost the case, stop spending money, and put it back in the budget where it belongs. We are now at over $250,000 that we've spent chasing a lawsuit for 53 women's jobs that are part of our community, that live here, that work here, and pay taxes here. To me, that is totally symbolic of the fight that we're fighting here. Is it an investment in value that we're looking for as a community, or is it something else? Is it that bottom line and commercialization at the risk of fear-mongering for taxpayers who only want to hear zero tax increases at the risk of everything else? And that's the distinction tonight. Leadership is about making things work and spending money and prioritizing where it's most needed. And going after 53 jobs that are the ribbon of our middle class, the homeowners, the taxpayers, that's wrong. And leadership would have stopped it way before if I'd been in the mayor's office. And let's talk about middle income values for a minute, because that's what's fueled our community for many, many decades. And all of a sudden, we're seeing that that's not the case anymore. But if you look around us, even in New Britain, Meriden, New Haven, and Hartford, in the last 2 to 3 years, they have talked about projects, planned their projects, and their projects have culminated with shovels in the ground. What is it about Bristol that in the last 5 years, or even let's go back 10 years, we're still looking at an empty lot? We're looking at discussing plans, we're looking at studies, and then we're looking at more studies. It's emblematic of the lack of progress and stagnation that we're suffering from. To me, the cafeteria privatization issue is just the tip of the iceberg, because it needs to be about value and investment, not just fear-mongering about taxes. It means that we have to make sure that we know exactly where tax dollars are spent. Nobody here wants to increase taxes or pay more taxes. And anybody that tells you differently about any politician of any party is actually not telling you the truth. But what we have to do is be able to tell the truth, not just what we want the truth to be. Perception and reality in this town are two different things. And just be warned that when those first 53 jobs go by the wayside, there's going to be another group, and there's going to be another group after that, because we've now set the path toward privatization. Thank you. Again, perception, reality. At 2 separate city council meetings, Councilman Calvin Brown broached this issue out of concern for the budget and the policy ramifications that the path was being set at the Board of Ed side. Both times, his effort to bring a motion to the floor was rebuffed by the Republican Party members who did not even want to vote on the resolution. To me, that is not leadership, and that is not being part of the solution. We're all in this together. In the opening statement, Mayor Cockayne said the word "I" a lot. This is about a team. We're all in this together. Again, I was on the council for the last 2 years. I could take credit for probably half the things on that list because I was there, physically there. But the fact is that, akin to Frank DeCosta's philosophy, I'm not going to take credit for things that my hands were not on. And I will tell you that I am a multitasker, and I do believe in having a very involved role. If that first phone call didn't work, I would have made a second one. And then I would have had a meeting. And then I would have brought everybody in. And I probably would have included the cafeteria workers. Maybe we could have come to a roundtable discussion in a collaborative way to talk about what our issues are and how we were going to get beyond them so that we could get back to the business of putting money into the school system to educate our children. And I take issue also with the MBR. We did give them more money, but it's not factoring into the MBR. So it's kind of like the gift that doesn't keep on giving. And I think in a lot of ways, we have to recognize that. We need math coaches, we need more paras, we need more teachers, and we are falling behind. The scores prove it. The classroom ratios prove it, and so do a lot of the scores that are coming up through the younger children. So that's the fact, that's the perception, and then we have the reality. Thank you.